Hey friends, welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at this. Yes, you saw it on the thumbnail, the corgi-v, maybe it's corgi-5, I don't know, because I don't watch any other reviewers' videos or other videos about the knives that I'm going to review, so I don't know what everybody's calling it, and I don't know exactly what Vosteed's calling it, but it's the letter V. So this is a small version of the Corgi. They came out with Corgi a while ago, then the Corgi Pup. Now the Corgi-v is roughly the pup size, but it's got a new locking mechanism. I've got something a little bit more special than that because this is a House of Knives Canada exclusive. They do have the 4 other colorways. They charge an extra $5 for those. This thing's $109 and $114 for the other colorways. And it's got a House of Knives logo and stuff on there, and I'll show you all the other parts about it. We'll do a teardown and everything to take a look at this new locking mechanism, the, what's it, Vancore, not Fashion. Why am I thinking? And we're going to do a complete teardown of this. We're going to take a look at the new Vancore lock. I've not seen anybody's videos on this lock. I got no idea how it functions. We're going to tear it down on camera for the very first time that I'm going to see it, so you'll see my first reaction to that lock. Just using it though, yeah, it's a decent lock. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, if you've got a TSPROF sharpening system and you want those quick clamps, you can win them by Easter time 2025. Go watch my video, my unboxing assembly video of that. I'll leave a link at the end of this and down below. And you could, watch that video, you'll figure out how to enter that draw. But without any further ado, let's get on the tabletop and take a good look at this thing. Okay, if you buy one of these from Vosteed Knives, it comes in a pouch. You've got Velcro here with the Velcro patch of their name, and it's nicely lined on the inside. It's a decent pouch. I'm quite happy with it. Put that aside, and here's where it's a little bit special. The Vancore lock, yeah. But if you get the House of Knives exclusive, that's this blue one. Now, this blue one is available, you know, as a non-exclusive. I'll show you the exclusive points about it. You get this little exclusive sticker that says House of Knives on it. On this side, House of Knives and Vosteed right there. So you got your little Corgi right there. You also get a Corgi coin, and it's a challenge coin, and it's numbered. It actually's got the number in there. There are 200 of these made. Mine is number 181. It's still available online as I'm recording this, so you can still get one. And it's got that on the one side, a Maple Leaf and 2025 and Vosteed on the other side. So you get that. And of course, it's got the Vancore lock that we'll look at. On this side, you've got a tiny little House of Knives exclusive logo right there. And then it says 14C28N right there and 181/200 on this side. So that's nice. I like that that badging is nice and tiny, and yet it's put on the flat just where it should be. It's legible, but it's not in your face. I like that. And on this side, it says Vosteed. I really do wish, especially since there's 3 different variants of the Corgi out, I really wish just underneath there it would say Corgi-v. Keeping it nice and tiny, you know, thin lettering like you've got over here with the 14C28N. But that would be nice right there. You know, some people aren't super knife nerds. They're not going to memorize exactly what the name and stuff is. I would like that. I like that this badging is tiny. I like that it's on the flat surfaces and not on the main bevel. But they could do that. Other than that, there's nothing exclusive about this. You can get this exact same knife, just minus the logo there and the 181/200 from other stores. So how does it come? Well, we've got aluminum handle scales. I'll show you a picture of most of them on the screen right here. So you got aluminum. It's nice. It's got a little bit of texture on there. It must have been a bead blast kind of finish. But I really, really like it. It's grippy enough to be secure in hand, and yet not so grippy that it's obnoxious. Well done. I'm very, very happy with that. The corgi-v has this Vancor lock, so we'll see that in a minute. So there's a button right there, so it's a button type lock to activate it and disactivate it. Push that black button in and it wants to close. So that's nicely done. And I like that. That is really well done. Of course, in the left hand, you can play with it as well. I'm quite happy with it. It is a right hand only pocket clip, but I played with it in my left hand. I grew up left-handed. I don't mind it. Whoop. I keep pulling too hard on it that way. Yeah, I don't mind it as a left-handed knife because it is mostly ambidextrous, and I can activate that lock with my index finger instead of my thumb. You know, in this hand, I do it with my thumb. In my right hand, you know, I do it with that finger. It still works. It's a little less convenient in the left hand, but not majorly inconvenient, so that's okay. What do we have for the handle? It's like sort of a pill style, you know, like a capsule. Round back here, rounded here, just parallel lines, chamfered all the way around, nicely done. Aluminum, and then the blade, like I said, 14C28N. We've got some jimping on the spine here, just a slight chamfer on the side, no swedge or anything. Drop point blade, and then we've got the belly here and a straight edge. It's a very functional blade. This is the best blade shape for most EDC type tasks. Not for everything, but just most commonly, this is a blade shape that I find the most useful most of the time. How thin is it behind the edge? Well, it's very nice around here where I've got it covered. It gets a little thicker closer to the tip, but that helps keep it a little bit strong, especially without that swedge and stuff there. So it's pretty strong of a blade. Flat grind, it's got a little bit of a flat section here, so it's not a full flat grind, but it's decent. Quite like it. It's about an inch, and I'll do all the measurements a little bit later on. How does it cut? How does it perform in actual use? I like it. It does quite well. It's sharp from the factory. It seems to have a decent angle. It's comfortable in hand. I'd like more jimping up here because holding it this way, sometimes I want to put my thumb back here and I'm using it, you know, cutting away like that. Of course, sometimes, you know, I want a little more reach. I'll tell you the length of the blade a little bit later on. It's useful for an awful lot of stuff. I call it sort of an urban EDC carry. You know, it's not for a country boy to take, you know, out in the backwoods and stuff. It's not that style of a knife. It's not that size of a knife, but urban EDC, this thing's quite nice indeed. Let's come to my first con. The original Corgi has got these ears up here. Well, this just has just the one. It's that front flipper. You know, you use your thumb to flip it out that way. It had the same thing over here to do that way. On this one, they decided to put the jimping and make it round and leave the one ear for this side. I would have preferred if they would have had this jimping just follow it around. Now, of course, they can't make it go all the way around because of, I'm suspecting, because they need something about that space for lockup. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I'll find out. But hopefully they could have made it. I wish they would have been able to make it in a way, or would have made it in a way that they had this jimping here just come all the way around, and so you wouldn't have this ear sticking out, or leave it like the original and have two ears. Because I found myself picking it up the wrong way, wanting to flip it this way, and I'm just pushing the knife back in. That doesn't work that way. Until I got really used to it, you know, and it works just fine. It's got a decent action to it. It's not super drop shutty, but works well. Does a little bit of bounce sometimes when I go to close it. Now I can flick it open just using the button, activate the button, and then flick it open and let go of the button before it gets all the way out. And same thing for closing it. You know, that works fine. Or I can use, you know, the flicking action. I'm not that fond of this front flipper with your thumb action over there. It just seems awkward to me. Maybe it's because I've got my worst arthritis is in this thumb right here. So maybe it's because of that I don't like that action. But it works just fine. And the jimping on here, it's done quite well. Now, what else do we have? Well, we got that pocket clip. It's a decent pocket clip. I like it quite a lot. It holds well. It's just on this one side. Let me pull up my pants here and show you it works. And you know, that is quite discreet in the pocket. It's not that big of a pocket clip. Holds on quite well. So pocket clip, I like it. I like it a lot. Before I do the measurements, I really want to get this thing opened up and take a look at everything. Now we've got T6 screws. These are flat head T6 screws. And let's just see, without moving the screw at all, my driver moves a little bit. So I wish those tolerances were a little bit snugger, but that's not bad. And on this side here, we've got another couple T6 screws again, and they're very more snug. If I get that in there, there's almost no play. I'm trying to spin it and it's not going. So I'm going to try to take this apart and we'll see how it goes. Now, I don't know if this is voiding my warranty or not, because I just don't know if it is or isn't. There's doesn't seem to be any thread locker on those screws. Well, maybe. Maybe there is. I don't know. It's hard to see. So let's take this off now, the pocket clip, because that's the only other accessible screws. Let's release that tension a little bit if we can. Very often, if you put the blade partway out, the tension gets released in the locking mechanism, making it easier to take it apart. There we go. So there's the arm. So that's the detent spring arm. Very similar to like a liner lock has that. You know, this end's different, but this part here with the way the detent ball works. It's a nice ceramic detent ball. That's the mechanism that engages the lock onto the side in this pivot. So this is one piece of steel and this is a second piece of steel. And that's in with two screws. Are these also T6s? Yeah, those are also T6s. There's I don't see any need to take those apart. So we'll leave those there. And I'm going to try to get my head in here so I can see what's going on. Okay, that just came off of there. So they're using a oil that's, well, I don't know if that's just leftover grease on there. Yeah, so there's a grease, but there also looks like there's a thin oil. Looks like they might have used both a grease and an oil. It's not exactly clear, but there you go. There's the tang of the blade. Decently done. And there's the ball bearings. So it's a ball bearing cage, phosphor bronze cage. There's 14 ball bearings on there. And there we go. And let me see, I'm going to take this out. So that's just the ball bearings there now. There's a D-shaped pin, so it's flat on that side. Yeah, that's just a button. It's a button mechanism, and that's peened in there, so that's locked in place. There doesn't seem to be any spring in there. This is the spring in the system. Just like a liner lock, the lock bar arms, the spring in the system. It's actually fairly simple. All I've done is I've slid this piece into that side, and yeah, that just pushes on that spring, and it disengages. It's being locked in place because it locks in place back here on this section. So yeah, they couldn't make it toothed all the way around. So I don't know if I explained properly or well how this works, but I think I understand it. It's a very simple locking mechanism, and it seems to work fairly well. And there you go. I'm going to take some still pictures of these parts and put it back together again. I'll re-lube it with my Gunny Glide. Just before I start putting it back together again, I forgot to mention here's a stop pin. You know, in my fingers right there, there's that tiny little stop pin, and it goes in right there, meets with that. And this is the back spacer, or the back, yeah, the back spacer. It's not really a spacer, it's the back body pin. And it's a U-shaped piece of steel. And where's my little T6 again? There it is. There's a screw right in there. and that's how you put it in. Focus over here again. There you go. And that gets screwed in there from the inside, so there's no screw on the outside. And it goes in through there. And one of these screws that screws the pocket clip on goes in this aluminum here, and the other one goes into this steel piece here. Yeah, pretty good for making a backspacer. That also is a protector of the tip of the blade when it's closed, so you can't get your finger in there onto the blade. And of course there's that skeletonizing that I didn't mention before to help reduce the weight, even on this side, a little bit of skeletonizing. So it's a really cool design. I'm quite happy with that. So let's start putting this back together again. There's a D-shaped section there, so this goes in there like that. And now we got to put the blade in place, but to do that we need to put a washer down. All right, hopefully it's focusing down there a little bit more. Put that stop pin in place, put the blade in place, put the other washer down there, not the washer, the ball bearings, put that down there. It's actually fairly straightforward. And now this goes down, and I just have to sort of wiggle it to get it all in place, and it easily goes together. That's not bad at all. And yeah, that's all the way down. Put that on there, and let's put these screws. Oh, my battery's not even lasting for half a video recording anymore, like 20 minutes of videotaping, and the whole battery's dead from a full charge. So I had the one screw started there, and the battery died. I'm not sure exactly when on that screw it died, but hopefully you saw it. It actually goes together quite easily. And let's tighten those up, not snug yet. And these two screws. So these screws, they're not very tight at all. They're actually quite, yeah, they're just not very tight. I wouldn't call them loose, but they're not very tight at all. Couple things I didn't cover that I need to do before I go to the rest of it. Oh, I should have covered it before, because it's got better alignment now than it did out of the box. It was a little further over to the button side before, but it's actually very well centered now. And the action, it's a little bit smoother. Gunny Glide is a decent lubrication. I really like it. So that works quite well. Lock up, yeah, because of the way that's made with that big barrel, there's no blade play in this lock. It locks up really well. And yeah, that spot right there is starting to show that it wears on that stop pin right there. And I can't get a good video of how the lock works, you know, because it's just deep in there. But yeah, it does bite into that hole. So they couldn't make the lock go, they couldn't make this jimping go all the way around. It just wouldn't work because it locks in on the end of the blade. Let's now do all the measurements and all the other specs like that. Pull out my worksheet. First, a tiny little bit of a size comparison. This is the QSP Parrot. That's roughly, just think of this shape though, that's roughly the size of the original Corgi. This is a tiny bit longer, but you know, the same style blade and stuff. So if you've got a QSP Parrot, there you go. Let's begin with the weight of this knife. It is 80 grams, 2.82 ounces. I do these measurements myself here at home. I don't trust manufacturer specs. Some companies do much better than others. The sharpness from the factory, on my best tester, I got a score of 140 best, which is quite good indeed. It's well sharpened. The cutting edge length, so between my thumbnails there, that's 58.1 millimeters, 2.29 inches. Blade length, so tip of the blade to the aluminum handle scale there, that's 59.9 millimeters, 2.36 inches, so 2 1/3 inches on the blade. Not bad. I like that. The thickness of the blade stock, 2.95 millimeters, 0.1165, so just a tiny bit under 1/8 of an inch. The blade depth this way, I got exactly 23 millimeters, which is 0.905 of an inch. There you go. The thickness behind the grind in this main section that my fingers are covering, 0.47 millimeters, 18.5 thousandths of an inch, and then it transitions right near the tip. It's 31.5 thousandths of an inch. Was that 0.8 millimeters? So it is fairly, thick right up here. I didn't find that to be a problem though, and I do like a little bit extra strength on the tip of a blade like that. It's not a stabby blade anyways. It's a small EDC. It's a small everyday carry. The handle length, 88.3 millimeters, which is 3.47 inches. The grip area, that's about 75 millimeters, 3 inches, give or take a little bit depending on how far around the edge you grip, whatever. The thickness of the handle scales, it is sort of a rounded over, so it's thickest right down the middle. 12.5 millimeters, 0.492 of an inch. Not bad. Of course, the pocket clip's extra, and these the locking mechanism here, that's a little bit thicker as well. The handle depth this way is the same with the blade deployed or the blade in. 24.9 millimeters, 0.98 of an inch. And the total length of this thing, 148 millimeters roughly, that's 5.83 inches. In the United States, the standard version of this knife is $79 US. You can get it at White Mountain Knives with 10% off with coupon code CCE. Who knows, those prices might change if this tariff stuff keeps going crazy between the United States and China, because this is a made in China knife. Hopefully you can get it before the prices go up. If they do, who knows, hopefully they'll resolve their tariff stuff that's going on. In Canada, this House of Knives special version, with the coin, it's less money than the standard version. This is $109.99, and the other ones are $114.99. Blades Canada's got them too. They're out of stock on all of them, but House of Knives has almost all of these. So check there if you're in Canada and you want to get this. For the rest of the world, I might find some more links and put them down below for you and in the comments, but generally, you're going to have to find most of those yourself because my viewers live all over the place. So, what do I like, not like about this knife? I like it. For the most part, I'm happy I bought this. I'm happy I stopped in that day that I went to Red Deer for a medical appointment, and I had time, so I stopped in at the House of Knives and I saw it there, and I didn't even know they had an exclusive. And I've been thinking about the Corgi for a long time. Yes, this one's a little bit smaller than the original Corgi. I do like this size of a knife a little bit better than this, but this is nice, and I like the stainless steel. It doesn't just come in black wash, it also comes in, I don't know, I forgot to look it up. Probably just a stone wash. We'll see, it's on the screen. Quite nice. I like the handle shape, it feels good in the hand. It's not too heavy, it's not too light, like it's not a toy. There's no lanyard option. That's not a problem for me personally because I tend not to use lanyards anyway. I could tie it off on the back of the pocket clip. Wouldn't tie it off on here because the blade comes fairly close and that's just going to cut into your lanyard. The badging's really nice. I would like I said, corgi-v right underneath Vosteed right there. That'd make it a little bit nicer. It's not a big deal. It's nice. What would I change? I've already told you a couple times. I'm not fond of this, rounded jimping for the flipper on this side and then a corner up there. Yeah, not fond of that. I'd like it different instead of having these two different things. It's okay in the left hand. It's not great in the left hand, but it's okay in the left hand. It's certainly still fidgety. You have to get used to it, just like I had to get used to it in my right hand. But yeah, there you go. The corgi-v from Vosteed. Check it out if you are interested. I think the lock mechanism it's not the strongest lock in the world, but for urban EDC carry, I think that lock is just fine. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.